Hello everyone, welcome to Smart Investing. Stay tuned. This is the time for the weekly market update. So I don't do any more daily market update because there is not much to say in one market day. And also I noticed there is not much interest in daily market update, but probably the format of weekly market update will make it a bit more interesting, and there will be probably a little bit more to talk about every Friday. I will do then a weekly market update. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to cover, of course, the QQQ, SPY, IWM, MAG7, some of the key movers in the market, some of the very talk about stock in the YouTube community like Palantir, AMD, NVDA, SoFi, CRISPR. Anyway, I'm going to touch on all of them. I'm going to show you the key economic data that happened during the week. And we're going to see what has been the overall market movement during the week, and we're going to move on from there, So stay with me until the end of the video. We're going to see a lot of charts. We're going to talk about a lot of fundamentals and details. And that's a good way for you to also keep up with the market in a very compacted video. Let's get into it. So let's start with the QQQ. The QQQ, you can see, broke out the all-time high 1, 2, 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago, and is still continuing its upward movement. You can see it's clearly on the uptrend. There is no breaking the uptrend from the low of April. It was straight up to where we are right now, which is quite amazing because the RSI is not even overbought, and the RSI is still very bullish, and the Bollinger Band is expanding. So that means the probability that we will go much higher is probably there as well. The volume is not so much. Of course, we are doing holiday season, so the volume is very, very thin. But despite the low volume, we still carry on going up, and that's a good news for the market overall. Now, if we move down to SPY, you can see SPY the same. We broke out 1, 2, 3 weeks ago. We broke out all-time high. Of course, it's not as strong as it is for the QQQ, but still, it was a straight up to where we are today from the low of April. And you can see the RSI is not also overbought or overeating. And you can see the volume is much lower, of course, but we are also during the holiday season, so it's normal that the market is not having a lot of activities. The Bollinger Band is not at the top, so we still have room to go a little bit higher before we maybe will go sideways or probably correct a bit, and before we continue the move up, So if you look at IWM, you see we haven't reached the all-time high, but still we have a clear upward channel since the low of April. And you can see we are straight at the limit to enter back again this long-term rising channel that we see in yellow. So I told you before on my previous video, if we reach that area, we break out and we reach this area, then we stay there. I think there is a good chance we're going to reach very, very soon all-time high. Because if you extend this upward channel here, and you see if we have to touch the upper band before correcting a bit and then going up higher as well, then you can see if we go and we touch it, we're going to go probably to all-time high first. So that's mean 244, maybe touching the upper limit, slightly correcting, and then going up again. So that's mean IWM is probably going to reach all-time high this year, And it's going to be help, of course, when and if the Fed is going to cut rate in in July or September or November meeting, This is very highly sensitive to interest rates. So if you cut rate, definitely that's going to boost the small cap to all-time high. You can see RSI is not overbought at all. It's at the level of 60. That means, we have a lot of room to go up. And you can see, funny enough, we have a lot of volume, We are during holiday season, but the volume for small cap is higher than before, So which is quite a good news. You can see the 2 tick on the green here on the last 2 weeks is very high, is higher than the average. And that's quite a good feat, you know. So if you go now to TLT, that's going to give you an expectation of what the long-term rate is going to be. We're still at the very bottom of TLT. The market has not moved at all. At the opposite, the last 3 weeks, it has shown an indication that the long-term rate is going higher. Is it because the market is expecting long-term inflation rate to go higher? That might be the case. Or they are seeing a lot of risk with treasuries and the financial situation of the US, and that's why they are demanding a higher rate for long-dated bonds as opposed to short-dated bonds. So that means if the Fed is decreasing bonds on the short hand, then we will have a clear steepening of the curve. But you can see the floor is there, you know. I don't believe that the TLT will go much lower than that. From a risk-return point of view, on a risk-reward point of view, buying TLT right now is probably the less risky it has been for quite many years, you know. But this is a historically low level, you know. We have to go back to 2007 to see this type of level, you know. Of course, we touched it. Sorry. Of course, we touched it in 2023. We touched this level as well, you know, when the rate hike was, the policy of the Fed of hiking rate was actually at the highest. And when they announced they're going to cut it, then oof, we had a huge rally to the hundreds. And then after that, we had this extreme volatility on the long end of the curve, you know, which has not been a very pleasant ride for people who were invested since 2023. You imagine just almost 1 year, 2 years, almost 2 years that you are doing absolutely nothing with long-dated bonds. You know, you are losing money. If we now go back to MAG7, we are finally reaching all-time high for MAG7, you see. It took us 40% up to reach all-time high, almost 50% up. And what a ride, you know, what a ride. And the volume is very good, you know. You can see the volume, of course, it's much lower than this one and this one, but still the volume is there, you know. And that's quite a good thing, you know. Is it going to hit all-time high and then break it, move higher and higher? Or is it going to reach all-time high? Then we test the 53 limits, and after that, go back up again. We will know. I think September will be a critical month for the market. And usually, August is very volatile for the market. Remember, last year, August was extremely volatile. September was extremely volatile. So it could be that August, this time again, will be extremely volatile for the market. So stay tuned, and we will see what will happen in August. I don't think it's going to go straight up for the whole summer, and then after that, in September, all the market participants will be like so scared they missed out so much upside, and then they will FOMO and buying the market, and the market will actually melt up again. That will be a crazy scenario, but you know, everything is possible. But I believe August is gonna give us some very good surprise, you know. So let's continue with the market update and the charts. So if you look at AMD, what an amazing rally for AMD. Look at that rally, you know, from the low of 76, 77. Now we are at 156, 157. That means we have more than doubled since the low of April for AMD. We had very, very good news. The good news with the restriction to sell to China has been lifted. We have the good news that the new chip MI350 is going to be commercialized very soon, and the pipeline is extremely strong. And we know the MI400 is extremely good. It can compete head-to-head with NVDA chips, and it's much cheaper than NVDA chips. So there will be a huge upside potential for AMD, especially for all these who wants to build high capabilities at cheaper cost, you know. And also, it has been said in the market that these chips are more cost efficient, energy efficient than NVDA chips. So let's see what will be the next earning call. But the 5th of October will give us a lot of clues about where is the direction of AMD going forward. But so far, the market seems extremely good, bullish for the AMD, and the momentum has been very, very positive. What is also very positive for AMD is that it has definitely break out this downward channel by the yellow line. You know, it was very important to break that channel. You know, that channel was here. Show you the channel is very clear, like here is there. You know, you have a downside channel, and we have clearly broke out this channel. And that's a very, very good news, you know, very, very good news. The volume has been quite healthy, even during this holiday season. You can see the volume quite good. And the RSI is probably bullish, not so much overbought. It's still at the limit of 70, definitely on the upper side. But you know what? It's very bullish, and if the momentum continue, AMD can easily go back to 170 by the end of the summer, especially after the earning. If the earning is good, then it will clearly go to 170, 72, 74. We're gonna test that limit, and after that, if it broke that limit, clearly the next step is gonna be all-time high. It's gonna break 200. So basically, the question is that will AMD go to all-time high before the end of this year? So that's going to be another 33-34% upside by the end of this year. Just let me know in the comments if you think that AMD is going to reach 200 by the end of the year. But my belief is that it will reach $200 by the end of the year. I think you're gonna get a very good guideline this earnings seasons, and in the third quarter, you're gonna have you're gonna starting to see all the sales numbers and the pipeline and all the impact for the MI350, and of course that's gonna accelerate because the AI demand is there, and there is a need for an alternative to NVDA. You know, the market cannot allow a monopoly like NVDA to continue, and NVDA to squeeze all these margins like they are making today. You know. But it's good. NVIDIA is doing really well, even though they are the biggest company in the world right now. $4 trillion. Congratulations to all NVIDIA investors. But don't expect to make like another 3 times or 5 times or 10 times. But for AMD investor, definitely this making 3 times, 5 times, or 10 times is probably in the making. Over the next 3 to 5 years, is AI is the trend that we are all expecting. AMD is going to be a very multi-bagger in the next 3 to 5 years. So let's stay tuned with AMD. So the next stock we're going to talk about is Palantir. Of course, Palantir continuing is bullish uptrend. You see, what an amazing stock, 154. You know, can you believe that it broke all-time high at 120? I thought that it will correct back at least to the middle of the Bollinger Bands and the 110, even 100, and then we test this level, and after that breakout. But no, it just broke out the all-time high at 120, and it's still going up and up and up. This stocks is something of an amazing feat, you know. And despite the cost, the price to earning, price to book, price to sale, all being at all-time high, you know, at level that we very difficult to understand. But you know what? Price to earning ratio on a trading is probably 700. Can you believe that 700 times the trailing 12 months earnings? Just crazy, you know. Even if you do forward PE of 300, it's still extremely high, you know. That's why you have to be very careful with Palantir. Palantir at the moment is a momentum stock, and we will see that momentum will continue. Another good stock that I see a lot of upside during since the low of April. You see where we actually reach the floor of 27. Now we are probably double the price, or since the low of April we are close to 52, and 52 is a critical level. You can see very critical level 52. So if we break that 52 level, we're gonna go straight to the 70, and that's probably going to happen after the earnings. The earnings is expected to be on the 12th of August, and SMCI is one of the key major player for AI and for the infrastructure of AI, whether it's with NVDA or with AMD right now. They are playing a very important role to build this infrastructure, you know. So I would not discount SMCI, especially that is very, very cheap. Price to earning ratio is probably on the trading at 30, on a forward basis is probably on the less than 20. And all the ratio that we see for the SMCI is extremely low, which shows that it's very, very cheap stock right now to buy. So I wouldn't be surprised that this one probably rocket after the earnings, especially if the guidance is extremely good. If they reiterate the sales for SMCI to be 40 billion next year, that's a huge increase in sales, So let's see what the guidance will be on the earnings in August. So I think I'm very excited to listen to the call and to see what they have in store for us. But definitely, I'm invested a lot in SMCI, and this is one also of my key players with AMD in my portfolio. One asset that I'm not really invested because I don't understand much about them, but it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you see, is reaching also all-time high, which really shows the market is extremely bullish. If Bitcoin is very bullish, that means the overall market is bullish, and Bitcoin is generally correlated with the overall sentiment of tech. That means there's no way to go around it. The tech market is very bullish, and we're going to continue to go up and up and up. There is a bill that needs to be passed in the US that will be pro crypto. I don't know if you follow this, but if it passes, then it will be a big boost for Bitcoin, because a lot of institutional investors will be allowed to invest in Bitcoin. And if there is a lot of demand for Bitcoin, then that's very good for Bitcoin. You see? So definitely it's a very good investment. I mean, year to date, 26% up, on a 1 year basis, 83% up. Very difficult to do better than Bitcoin, although that it's very volatile. You can see the volatility of these things, but you know what? The trend for many, many years is up and up and up and up and up. You see? It goes down. So let's continue. Ethereum also is going up. Was at the low of 1,500 in the low of April. Now it's double more with more than $3,500 one Ethereum. The dollar is definitely going up since the low of April. I mean, it's a staggering. Actually, since the beginning of 2025, the dollar has actually depreciated by close to 13%. 13% depreciation of the dollar since the beginning of the year. It's incredibly impactful for people who are not US dollar investor like me. I'm doing really well here today, despite that all my investment are in US dollar. So can you believe that if I didn't have the negative impact of the dollar, I will be even much higher on my return this year. I will be 15% higher on my return this year, so which is quite crazy, But you know what? This is what it is. You cannot do anything. Currency risk is unpredictable. So, and over the long run, you can see it's balancing. Sometimes it's appreciating, sometimes it's just hovering up and down and just sideways. Sometimes it's depreciating. So overall, you can see since the 2015, the dollar has not been detrimental or has not been in favor for foreign investors. Anyway, this move is nothing compared to the underlying stocks you're going to buy. So I think if you invest in equity markets and especially in growth stocks, you shouldn't worry too much about the effect of the dollar on your investment, because your underlying investment should do much better than the dollar, even if the dollar depreciates, Other than that, what are the stock we're going to talk about is NVDA, extremely strong breakout. It broke out from the all-time high of 150. I mean, congratulations to those who actually took the opportunity to buy it as low as 86 in April. You double your investment in just a few months, I mean, what an incredible opportunity when you look backwards to buy NVDA at this very low price of 86, Which really show that if you get the balls to buy when everyone is selling, this is where you're going to make a lot of money. And if you follow that channel back in the low of April, you would have done so, Actually, I maxed out my stocks buy during this time of the low of April. So I actually enjoyed all the benefit of that. I didn't buy NVDA specifically, but I bought MAG7 funds, which almost is the same because it's include NVDA in the portfolio. CRM, you see, still hovering around 260 is a very strong floor. I mean, my swing trade is not dead, but it's not taking off right now. But a lot of analysts are predicting that it's going to go to all-time high in the next 12 months. I mean, year to date, it lost close to 20%. You can see that the analyst average target is 351. 351 is around here, you know, that's mean it's around all-time high. So can you believe that if I invested into REITs, no, pardon, sorry, LEAPs, with a leverage of 100%, so that's mean if you go to all-time high, it's 35%, so I will make 70% on my investment if it go back to all-time high by the end of the year. So I think the next earning will be critical for CRM, Salesforce, to actually show where the stock is going to move. Maybe it's going to move way slightly before the earnings because, I mean, Wall Street definitely is bullish on CRM, so there is no other way to put it. So otherwise, what is quite interesting is that today, we had a very sharp increase on the stock called CRISPR. And it's one of my portfolio holding, you can see. Went up by 20% today. And you can see the very strong upside since the low of April. That was close to 30. So you more than double your investment if you invested in CRISPR back in April this year, which really show that you know, this one was on a very strong descending channel. You know, you can clearly see with the yellow. The yellow trend is very, very strong descending channel. But again, it has broken out this descending channel. So is this the beginning of a very hyperbolic and exponential move back to all-time high of 89? Maybe a lot of people are thinking so. I mean, the RSI is extremely bullish, a bit on the side of overbought. The volume lately has been extremely strong. Look at the volumes. It's just amazing, and it's very supported by the volume. So you get a very strong upside supported by the volume. And we have earnings on the 11th of August. So I think this one might be a good play. But unfortunately, I bought these stocks and I did a covered call play on that because I was not sure that it will break out like it has during the last few weeks. So too bad for me because my upside is very limited to my call targets. That's the downside of the trade when you play a covered call. You have to know that when you set a call with a strike, if the stock shoot up like this one, then your upside is limited to your call strike, you know, that you've sold to someone else. So that's mean your upside potential is limited to what you have sold, you know. But that's life, you know, sometimes you lose like that, you know. CRISPR has been extremely volatile on a down channel for many, many years, and it's very difficult to predict such explosive upside, you know. It's a highly speculative stock anyway. You see, it has done nothing since 2022, and if you go back, you invested in 2018, you see, you've done absolutely almost nothing. You see, you're still at the level at 2018. So you see, is still in the very long-term channel of this one here. So is it just a speculative move to the upside, and after that it's going to crash back again, like it did in this one, like it did in 2024? You see, it went from the low of 37 to the high of 89, and then it crashed back to the low of 30. You know, this type of stock is very difficult to predict. Other than that, nothing really so far has broke out strongly, you know, from the low of April. Now you can see it is back to almost all-time high. So far is definitely a stock to watch in the earning of 29th of July. United Health definitely has not done anything since all the speculation about this killing of the CEO and all the abuse allegation and the scrutiny of the government on the spending of this company. I mean, this stock has a lot of negative momentum. So let's see how it goes. But maybe if you believe this company is gonna turn around the situation, they're gonna manage to say it through this tough time, then maybe it's a good time to buy at this level. You know, you see the volume is extremely high. people are accumulating these stocks at this level right now, you know. So 200, 300 is definitely a price you see. Is the people are accumulating and accumulating a lot, not a small amount of money. You see, since back to the 2018 or 15, there's never been such a high volume than right now, you know. See, that's the point of control, you know. Anyway, that's probably a good opportunity for the people who you want to take some risk, or for swing traders, you know. You can do an upside. If you have an upside, go back to all-time high, then you make more than 120% upside. So we're going now to go through the economic data of the week. Let's go to calendar economic data. So you see on Monday, nothing really important happened. On Tuesday, we had the core inflation rate year over year, the CPI inflation rate month over month and year over year. And what we have noticed is that the inflation is definitely under control and is coming lower than expected. You see 0.2 as opposed to 0.3, 2.9 as opposed to 3%, and just in line with the inflation rate year over year. The expectation is in line with 2.7%, slightly higher than the prior reading of 2.4%. That's still well within what we should expect from inflation. You can see on Wednesday, we had core PPI, which came actually lower than expected at 0%, lower than what expected of 0.2%, and lower than the prior readings of 0.4%. Core PPI year over year is 2.6%, lower than expected of 2.7%. So basically, there's nothing really worrying about the inflation numbers. So on Wednesday, nothing much. On Thursday, we had employment data. You can see continuing jobless claim is 1,956, lower than expected. We have initial jobless claim 221,000, less than expected of 235,000. Retail sales also coming stronger than expected than anything, you know. And on Friday, nothing really important, you know. So definitely the market is on fire. Economic data is very supporting the bull market right now. Inflation is under control. Employment market is still very, very strong. We have no sign of weakening in employment market. Jerome Powell is still refusing to cut rate despite that inflation is under control. And the economy would need quite some support, especially on the small cap and domestic market. Also, it will be a good sign that everything is under control. Cutting by 25 basis points, 50 basis points is a very big boost for the sentiment of investors and consumers. They will be able to make a lot of credits to buy whatever they want to buy, especially the housing market and the real estate market. So, you know, that's it. You know, Jerome Powell is playing a game. We don't know exactly what game, but so far he hasn't really decided to decrease rate. Maybe this July session, maybe in September, maybe in October, who knows? But the market expect the Fed to cut 2 times this year, and the Fed has said that they will cut 2 times this year. So we have to believe it, and we will see if that's true. So you see all the discussion with the tariff is still going on. And now the market is immune to all this discussion. You know, the market don't care at all whether the tariff is going to happen now or later, whether it's going to be 10 or 15%. They don't seem to care anymore, you know. What actually started the crisis and the down market in February? Basically, today they don't care. You know, it's just to show you that the market is just funny, you know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this weekly market update, and I ask you to like, subscribe, and to help me to grow this channel. It doesn't cost anything. Just press the subscribe button, press the like button, and thanks so much. I wish you a very good week of trading next week, and take care of yourself. Bye.